again, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Focus Vandalia. My name is Rich Hopkins. I'm the communications manager for the city. And on today's program, a very big honor for three of our members of the Division of Fire. We'll talk about that. We've also got great news for organizations looking to bring cultural arts to Vandalia in the coming year. There might be some money available for that project. But our first stop today is right here in Stone Quarry Crossings, where, as you can see, a very busy place, lots of activities going on as economic development here is booming. In the 6 or 7 years that Stone Quarry Crossings has been available for development, there's been no shortage of companies ready to move operations there. To that list of businesses operating, we can very soon add White Castle. As Assistant City Manager Greg Shackelford says, the White Castle food processing plant will very soon be open for business.
They've got probably at least 30 to 40 employees that they're doing some training with and working with now. They got a temporary occupancy certificate just released last week. They're still doing some work on some of the equipment installation, but we're hoping to have them fully functional in possibly January of 2014.
Right next door to White Castle is Independent Can, a Baltimore-based company that this past month received a $200,000 EDGE grant to add a manufacturing component to the Vandalia location.
This was one of the strongest, if not the strongest, EDGE rounds that I've ever been involved in my years here at Vandalia. There were 13 applications that were submitted. There's 2 funding cycles for that program, and the requests were about $2.8 million, and there were only about $1.4 million left in the pot. And we were, from what I found out, one of the top projects in the rankings, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that this is a company that has committed. They're here, and they're here for the long haul.
The manufacturing component will mean more business for the company and ultimately more jobs.
They're going to start off a little slow as far as the numbers of employees, and targeting about 10 or 11 in the first year, but they're going to grow to 30 in 3 years is what they're committing to, and I could just see that being an opportunity for expansion down the road.
Also from Stone Quarry Crossings, we get word that another company, Manufactured Assemblies Corporation, is very seriously considering an expansion, as they've bought land just west of their existing building for potential growth.
But for them, they have expanded their product lines. At one point in time, they were a very large supplier of primarily NCR, and they actually have an office in Atlanta near where NCR's headquarters moved to. But they have expanded into some different industries, and they're doing some solar industry work now. And from what I understand, their employment numbers are really strong.
This most recent news is the perfect capper to a year that's seen hundreds of new jobs locate to this area and more than 1,200 jobs in the pipeline.
We've had a few others that we could mention with ASPM's expansion. We got Pilot, Incon, and it's been another great year for us, really.
It's also been a great year for Vandalia's Division of Fire, which is receiving county-wide recognition for its response to the EF1 tornado that struck the city's east end on October the 31st. Fire Chief Chad Follick says 3 firefighters will be honored as Montgomery County Firefighters of the Year for their fast response under very difficult circumstances.
Arrived to find complete darkness. Electricity was out there. We're able to see the building, the Frickers building was heavily damaged, and we're met by 20 to 25 people in the parking lot, people exiting the store. The guys went quickly into a mode of triaging people, used a system that we had only trained on about 2 months earlier. The county has changed an emergency or a mass casualty incident policy that we're using in the county, and had just implemented new equipment. Had been on that vehicle for probably just a little over 2 months. Crews quickly started sorting people in the parking lot, told people that were injured to wait for them as they went into the building.
Follick says the tornado blew out a plate glass window in the front facade of Frickers, sending dangerous shards of glass flying into an unsuspecting crowd of patrons.
They described it as what a car bomb must look like when a car bomb goes off. There was debris everywhere. There was ceiling tile hanging. There were chairs and tables uprooted, and people bleeding, people injured. Guys quickly requested more help, and then started triaging people and tagging people. We use a paper tag system that has color coding to determine who are the first people to be treated, who can be delayed, who can wait until the end of the event and be minor injuries. In all, in about 15 minutes, the guys triaged about 30 people.
The firefighters were honored for the quality work they did in a very short period of time.
We handled probably 24, almost 36 incidents in that 2 or 3 block range, from building collapses to people injured, ill, people that had to be evacuated, utilities that were damaged in the street. So it was a great team event, but really if those guys hadn't initiated that event the way they did, it could have turned out a lot more disjointed, or a lot more, we could have had some worse outcomes from that.
While ultimately dozens of firefighters from multiple jurisdictions responded to offer help during the aftermath of the tornado, Volek says the fast and precise work of those first responders really made all the difference.
If you don't have the standard framework in place when the first alarm assignment gets there, you're going to have issues. I mean, and we always say, once the horse is out of the barn, you can't get him back in. And it's very difficult for incident commanders to run, really Captain Stitzel started out running a very small incident, a mass casualty incident, and small in the grand scheme of things, but ended up running the whole show. I mean, was instrumental in getting people to other places in the city that were damaged and that needed service. So yeah, without those guys, I think the outcome's a lot different. You don't see the things you saw 20, 30, 40 minutes in.
Volek also had high praise for the Living Word Church, who opened a shelter for displaced families. He says he called the church shortly after 1 a.m. to let them know he needed a shelter.
Within 5 minutes, the gentleman we called had that open for us and was offering the building. And we had a very light turnout at the shelter, but the Living Word Church people have been very good to us over the years, are always willing to help. And since the tornado have called us and said, hey, we want to know what we can do to help you with your disaster planning. How do we fit in? Is there any service that we can provide that we didn't, or is there any service we can provide to assist the city? And that's just, I think, is really commendable on their part. It's a great community resource, and they did a wonderful job for us.
Another group of folks getting credit these days for helping others are the Honor Society kids at Vandalia Butler High School. The kids are offering up their own elbow grease to assist local senior citizens with some tough chores around the home.
Honor students will actually donate their time to offer their services to the seniors as far as little things that need to be done around the home, whether it be carpet shampooing or painting, light housework, raking leaves. It's a great program. The kids are going to get involved with my seniors here at the center, and also anybody that's interested, they can contact me and we'll go ahead and get in touch with the Honor Society and have some kids come out.
Senior Center Coordinator Kelly Lundquist says the idea is simple. Match able-bodied high school kids with senior citizens who need help around the house. She says the school district has been terrific to work with.
I've gotten in touch with Mr. Mesco, who is the Latin teacher at Butler High School, and Mr. Vasel, he is the assistant principal, and they will be getting in contact with the couple, and the Honor Society will be going over there and helping that family out.
If you know someone who could use the assistance of these high school kids, contact Jeff Mesco at 415-6478.
These kids are great kids. They're willing to help out, and it's going to be a wonderful bond between the adults and the kids. It's just going to be nice to have them come out, and it's always a good time to have youngsters out there with the seasoned citizens, and it's just going to be great for both.
From helping seniors to helping local artists, The City of Vandalia's Cultural Arts Committee is looking for a few good programs to fund in this coming year. Assistant to the city manager Julie Trick says arts organizations looking to present work in Vandalia might be eligible for financial assistance.
Everyone in the community gets really excited when they hear about free money to be had. And in 2014, the Vandalia Cultural Arts Commission has $7,500 that it would like to give away to the community in support of cultural arts.
The committee was founded in 2002 with a stated goal of bringing more arts to Vandalia.
Since then, we have brought programs to the community like the Dayton Philharmonic Concert to St. Christopher's Church in cooperation with the Vandalia Butler Foundation, the Storyteller Series to the Historical Society programs to the Vandalia Senior Center. We've brought programs into the Vandalia Butler schools, Muse Machine. We've hosted art receptions and that sort of thing with the monies that have been available.
There are only a few criteria that need to be met in order to qualify for a grant.
Must be 501c3 nonprofit organizations. There is a grant application process. They can find the application on our website at www.vandaliaohio.org. The main criteria for the grant selection is that the organization be working to benefit as many Vandalia residents and organizations or businesses, whatever, as possible. The more benefit the project has in the city of Vandalia, the more chance that a grant will be awarded.
By the way, if you're someone with a genuine interest in the arts, you might want to consider being a part of the Vandalia Cultural Arts Committee.
City of Vandalia is always looking for new members on our cultural arts and our public arts committees. You don't have to be an artist to be a part. You just have to have an interest in cultural arts. If you are a Vandalia resident and you have an interest, you can contact the Vandalia City Manager's office and we'll talk with you about the requirements of the committee.
Our next stop today is out at the Vandalia Sports Complex, where some folks are taking advantage of an opportunity to let their Christmas tree serve one final purpose. Vandalia Facilities Superintendent Rudy Wells says instead of throwing out your old Christmas tree, you can take it to the sports complex parking lot where it will be recycled.
Starting December 26th, out here at the sports complex, the first parking lot on the left as you come into sports complex, there'll be some barricades in the corner, and residents can drop their Christmas trees off from December 26th till January 21st.
The trees will be ground up and mixed with collected leaves to create a mulch.
Parks and Rec Department hauls them down to the city recycling area for brush, and then those trees are ground up, mixed in with the leaf compost that's also collected, and residents can pick those up or have those delivered.
And finally today, even with the calendar saying January, it's actually time to start thinking about summer.
It's hard to believe that there's snow on the ground and we're going to talk about baseball, softball registration, but it is right around the corner. Online registration begins next Friday, December 27th, and walk-in registration begins the Friday after, January 3rd. So the registration's actually moved up this year to make it a little bit more convenient for people to come in and sign up or to also register online.
Recreation Supervisor Alicia McCracken says the Vandalia Division of Parks and Recreation has baseball and softball opportunities for kids of all ages and all skill levels.
We offer leagues from age 3 to 18, boys and girls. Online registration, you need to have registered before at the rec center for the program to do the online registration. But you can always do the walk-in, just as easy, short registration form to fill out, get your receipt and wait for a coach to call in mid-March with practice times.
If your kids have never participated in Vandalia Parks and Rec sports leagues, you'll have to register in person just this once.
If it's your first time registering, make sure you bring a birth certificate to verify the child's birth date. Once we've seen it one time, you don't need to bring it back again. So one and done kind of thing for that. Other than that, payment is due at the time of registration, and you will receive a pamphlet with just important dates about the program.
Once again, registration begins on December the 26th and runs through the month of January and February. Now, if you have any questions at all about the programming here at the Rec Center, you can always check them out online, vandaliaohio.org. You can also check your mailbox because before the end of the year, the new rec guide should be in your mailbox and get you ready for the spring recreation season. That's going to do it for this edition of Focus Vandalia. I'm Rich Hopkins. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.